Okay. Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, as usual, questions about the homework. Do you guys do the homework? What question do you have about it? Anybody?
Dr. Elias, can you hear
Yes.
me? Okay. I just wanted to know if I could like have a quick minute to just discuss with the students like after class, because I have to change the time of the SI session for today. So I just wanted to see what time would work best.
Okay. All right. Just remind me though on chat. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Any question before we start? Okay, please do the practice problem. If you don't have questions, it means that you really didn't do the practice problem. It's crucial. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do the following. So number 8 is definitely, I'm going to do the following problem with you, and I'm going to assign number 8 again for next time. So you guys will be more comfortable with it, right? Okay. So here's my problem. It's on the worksheet I put on bright space, and then as I told you, to print it. So it will make the whole lecture much easier for me and for you as well. So this is our problem. I read it. I'll give you a minute to interact with it. A long distance calling plan charges 99 cents for any call up to 20 minutes in length. So up to 20, this long distance calling plan charges 20 minutes. And 7 cents for each additional minute or part of a minute. So 7 cents for 1 minute, half a minute, it's half of 7, 3.5 cents, and so on and so forth. And the question is, let C be the function that assigns to each number x of minute the cost of a call that lasts 7 minutes. And the question is, sketch the graph of C of x. Means how does the graph looks like? And then we're going to find a formula for C. All right. So I want to give you a little bit to interact with the problem, make sense out of it. What are we talking about? And then sketch the graph. So get going. After 2 minutes, we reconvene, at most 2 minutes, and see what you guys came up with. And then we sketch it together. So read it carefully and try to sketch. Try to understand what is it about. Each one of you is responsible. And please, please put your camera on. Please put your camera on.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I understand the problem. It's saying that it's 99 cents for any limit of time up to 20 minutes. And then
Exactly.
anything after you have to pay extra, correct? It's not
Exactly.
99 cents per minute.
Yeah. 7
Okay.
cents per minute.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. All right, so let's see. Anybody has any idea how the graph is going to look like? Okay, so let me ask you a few questions. Make sure you understood the problem. So I have a function, you give it something, and it has to spit out something. What do you give it? What's the input in this problem? Question number 1. What's the input?
99 cents.
No. What's the
minutes?
right? It's the number
the
of
call?
minutes. That's what you input. You input the number of minutes. So let's C be the function that is assigned to each number of minutes. So you give it the number of minutes. What should it give you? What's the output here?
The cost.
The cost per minute.
Not per minute. Not per minute.
Per 20 minutes. And
No.
every extra 7 minutes.
No. No, the function that if you give it the number of minute, if you call it X, the number of minute, it should give you the cost to call for X minute. That's how the function works. So you give it 1 minute, it tells you how much it costs to call 1 minute. 5 minutes, so the input is the number of minutes, the output how much it costs to call that many minutes. 1 minute, how much it costs to call 1 minute. You give it 2, the machine will tell you how much it costs to call 2 minutes. You give it 15 minutes, how much it costs, and so on and so forth. So it's the cost of the call. So you input the number of minutes, it outputs the number of calls. So when I graph it right here on the horizontal, the X represents the number of minutes you call. So when I put 1 here, I mean 1 minute. If I put 2, it means 2 minutes. And the output would tell you what is the cost to call that many number of minutes. So this takes care of labeling the axis. All right, now I'm going to graph it. But before I graph, I have to ask you what's really going on. So let X, so this is the number of minutes. That's what this X represents. And C of X is the cost to call X minutes. That's the output. Cost to call X minute. Now, let us understand what's happening. If X is 0, it means I don't call. Okay, there is no cost. So you didn't call. So I'm going to skip 0. Suppose I give you X to be equal to 1. So 1 represents 1 minute. What is the cost?
$0.99.
99 cents, because it charges 99 cents for any call up to 20. So that's 99 cents. Now I will put 99, not 0.99, because the unit is cents, not dollars. So I know you guys put 0.99, but since my unit is cents, I'm going to keep it 99. Okay, if I call 5 minutes, quickly, what's the cost? 99. If I call 20 minutes, what's the cost? 99. If I call 21 minutes, what's the cost? 106. Now, for every extra minute after the 20th, I start adding 7. So that's going to be 106 or $1.06 or 106 cents. And then I can proceed. 22 minutes. How much it's going to cost?
113.
113. Okay, that's plus 7. And so on and so forth. It keeps at the same rate. Every extra minute, we're going to add 7. That's really understanding the function. Now, how is the graph going to look like? So we're going to sketch this. How do you think it's going to look like? ideas? How would I sketch something like this?
You would start off on the x-axis at a point for 99 cents. Like,
Why
so,
axis?
so so you would find like if for 1 minute and 99 cents.
Okay,
or
the one
5
goes
minutes,
where? X or Y axis?
the x-axis.
Right. And the 99?
The 99 goes on the y.
Right. And then what do you want me to do?
Yeah, and 1, 5, and 20 are all going to be at their different heights or different spots on the x-axis, but on the same spot on the y.
Right. Now, what about, is it only 5 and 20? What about, I cannot put every possible value here, right?
Yes,
So if it's 3, what's going to be?
99.
So how do you want me to sketch?
2 points, one connecting 199 and one connecting 20 and 99.
Why only 2 points?
Because anything after 20 is going to
No, I'm still here. Why only 2 points?
Because
If
anything
you give me only 2 points, you know what this means? Means you only have output for 1 minute and 20 minutes. It means you don't know the answer for 3 minutes. But do you know the answer for 3 minutes? What's the output for 3 minutes?
99 cents.
So why not this dot?
Okay.
Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So fix your graph. How is it going to look like up to 20?
So it's going to look like a line, correct?
Exactly. That's what I want. It's not only those point, it's the whole line. At 0, I'm going to open because at 0, if you don't call here, there is no cost. So let's not worry about only x equal to 0. But everywhere you have an output, which is 99. So the function is constant. So between 0 and 20, the function is constant. It takes the value 99 cents. How is it going to do after that?
Everything after that, for each extra minute, the price is going to increase by 7 cents.
So this we're going to increase by 7. And then how it's going to look? Only point, or you want me to connect them?
Only points, because people can talk for extra. Oh, no, actually connect them.
Because
People can use any value.
Exactly. Anything in between. You can talk for 20 minutes and a half of a minute. So it's going to be a straight line. That's typical piecewise defined function. So the function is constant up to here. And after that, it's going to take off. I mean, not take off. For every extra minute, you're going to add 7 cents. Another one, 7 cents. If you take half a minute on the top, then it's half of 7, which is 3.5. That's really how it works. Okay. Part 2 is find a formula for C of x. So now C is a piecewise defined. C of C consists of 2 pieces. That's the first piece, which is a horizontal line. And that's the second piece, which is the vertical line. I want you to find a formula that reflects this graph. So first we use a table to understand the problem. But I cannot put every possible value under the sun in my table. You have to understand the picture. I graphed it. Now I want a formula for C of x. Again, I'll give you time to figure it out. Every one of you is responsible to answer the question. those who figured out the answer, please put it on bright space, as I meant on chat, because it helps me to see what you guys are doing. Okay, so let me see. 90 plus 7. All right, so there is an issue. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so for line 1, let's take care of line 1. Line 1, the function is constant. There is nothing into it. So for the line 1, the equation is going to be y equal 99. So as long as x is less than 90, the cos is going to be 99. So there is nothing more into the first one. Now what about L2? It's a line. You have to figure out the slope. You have to figure out the point on it, and then you have to give me the equation. So when x less than 20, what's the formula that will fit this graph?
Wait, so is it not if x is less than or equal to 20?
It's 99 cents.
Wait for, okay, I'm sorry, I just got confused.
For L1, means if x is less than 20, the cost is 99. It's fixed. The problem starts after 20. What's the formula for that? Okay, I know that there is an issue with a lot of us because the intercept is not 99. The intercept is not 99. For those who gave me the answer, 99 is not the intercept. Fix your answer. So your slope is correct, your intercept is not. Okay, I'm getting another answer. I have to check that out. Okay, I'm getting all kinds of answers. We have to figure it out together to make sure what it is. Okay. Okay, L2. To find the equation, that's a line. We need the slope and we need a point. Okay, what's the slope of L2? Can we figure it out immediately? That's the line. What's the slope? The slope is 7. Every time you go by 1, you go up by 7. So 7 over 1, it means that's the slope. That's not the equation. It means 7 cents per minute. That's really the slope. So the slope is 7. To find the equation, I need a point. I do not have the intercept. I don't have. So I cannot use 7x plus 99. It's round. And 99 is not the intercept. The intercept is where the line intersects, which is I don't have it. So to find the slope, I need a point. Who can give me a point? Who can give me a point on the line? So I drew the line for you. Who can give me a point on the line? 20 and 99, correct. This point is on the line. So that's 20 and 99. That's my point. So now I can use either the slope intercept or the point slope form. So now let us find the equation. Y minus equal x minus. My point is 2099 x minus 20. It means my y is 7 times x minus 20 plus 99. So that's really what my y is. Now let's see if we minus 140. So now I'm just distributing plus 99. It means my y is 7x minus 140 plus 99 will give me minus 41. So the correct answer for the student who gave me, I don't know, one of you, yeah, that's gonna be the correct answer, 7x minus 41. I repeat, it's not 7x plus 99. 99 is not the intercept. So the intercept, as in from the picture, is somewhere down here. I need to figure it out. And now let us write the formula for the cost. So what is the cost now? Right now, I'm going to find the formula. So how can I write the formula for the cost? So the cost is equal to what? How do I write it? Okay, it's going to be 99 when x is less than 20, it's constant and positive, because the number of minutes has to be positive. So it's 99 up to here. If x is bigger than 90, it's not constant anymore. It's going to be 7x minus 41. That's the formula that would reflect the graph. Okay. So let us see if the formula coincides with our picture. It means, is this formula correct? So I want you to do what I did last time. I want you to do the following. I want you to take C of 22. And I want you to evaluate it two ways. One, using the formula, and one from the graph if you want, or the table, because we did that both ways. And do they agree? I mean, does the formula agree with my understanding of the problem? Okay. From the graph, what do we get? What's the cost for 22? Or from the table? If we talk 22 minutes, we had 90 plus 7 plus 7. It means 99 plus 7, we get 130. Now, is it agreeing with my formula? My formula is telling me it's 7 times 22 minus 41. We should have the exact same answer. 7 times 22, that's 7 times 2, that's a 4. 7 times 2 is a 4. Minus 41, we get a 3. We get a 1, and we get a 1. Exactly the same. I'm doing the same thing twice. Okay. So that's a whole picture of this problem. Understanding the problem, graphing the problem, finding a formula for the problem. So that's really the whole picture. Now, number 8 is exactly the same, and I urge you to do it for next time. I'm going to assign it as a practice problem. It's the same idea, but I want you guys to do it. Okay. All right, today we're going to move to section 2.4. And it's something called new functions from old. So it's a little bit theoretical, but we have to learn it because you will use it. So section 2.4 is the following. I first start explaining it, and then we do problems together. So section 2.4 is called new functions from old. Okay. Now, the idea is the following. First, I'm going to write sum and product of two functions. Don't be afraid of what I'm writing. So suppose we have two functions. It means I have two rules. So let f of x and g of x be two functions. Each one of them has its own rule. Okay. So we're going to define a third function. Means we're going to create a function, and I'm going to call it f plus g towards some count. Okay. So that's what do I mean by f plus g? It means what's the rule that f plus g gives me? F plus g is the following rule. For every x, so when you see f plus g, it means f of x plus g of x. That's what f plus g means. So it's a new function. When you apply it to x, it's f of x plus g of x. So whatever f does plus what g does. Now, when we have two functions, we can multiply them. So we can talk about f, g. So there is nothing in between. That's really how we write them. What does this weird notation mean? So that's a new function is defined as follows. It's f of x just multiplied by g of x. Okay, so those two notation mean the following. F plus g, it means you take f, you add g to it. F times g, it means you take f of x, you multiply it by g of x. That's just the product of two functions. So let me take a very simple example to make sure we understand this notation. So example. So suppose I take f of x to be, what do I want? Suppose I take f of x to be x squared plus 2. And I take g of x to be, let us say 5x plus 6. Okay, these are my rules. Then I ask you the following question. Evaluate, it means find the value of f plus g of 2. Okay, what does this mean? F plus g of 2, this means the following. As simple as that. It means you take f at 2 and you add to it g of 2. So that's really what this notation means. All right, so what is f of 2 now? And you add g of 2. What does f do? Takes the input, square it, and add 2 to it. What does g2? It takes 5 times the input and add 6 to it. So this will give me 4 plus 2, that's a 6. This will give me 10 plus 6, 16, which will give me 22. So that's what this really notation means. Now suppose I tell you find an expression. Find an expression or a formula for f plus g. Okay, find a formula for f plus g. What do we mean by that? It means in general, what does f plus g do for anything? What's the general formula? All right. We go back to what this means. This means f of x plus g of x. So just basically add those two. And f is x squared plus 2. And then you're going to add to it 5x plus 6. So far, it's just definition that we apply them verbatim. So this is x squared plus 2 plus 5x plus 6. It means I collect like term 5x plus 8. Okay. So whenever you see you have two functions and they talk about f plus g, there's a new one, a new function, which is defined that it takes f, add to it g. Now I'm going to work with the multiplication. Let's see what this other notation means. So suppose now I ask you the following. Evaluate. So my functions are the same. So this is my f, this is my g. I'm not changing the scenario, but I'm going to want you to evaluate f g of 2. What does this mean? It means that definition, this is f of 2. You multiply it. When they put nothing in between, it means what's the output is f of 2 multiplied by g of 2. So finding this is finding the product. So I have to multiply it by that. So let's see what is f of 2. If I plug in 2 for x, that's going to give me a 6. What's g of 2? 5 times 2, so I'm going to write those here on the side. So you know what my numbers are coming from. F of 2 is 2 squared plus 2, which is a 6. And g of 2 is 5 times 2 plus 6, which is 16. So, but now, since I have a product, it's 6 times 60. And I just multiply them. 6 times 6, 36. 6 times 1 is 6, which gives me 96. Okay. Now, question is, find a formula for fg. What do we mean by find a formula for fg? Okay, it looks like really so much notation, which this means the following. If you take fg, what does fg do for any x? That's what it means, find a formula. It means what does it do for any x? So for any x, the definition is it takes whatever f does, multiply it by g. So that's the product. So now let's do that. It's equal to what? My f is x squared plus 2. So this is x squared plus 2. I will lift up the paper in a minute. My g is the 5x plus 2. So my g is the 5x plus 2. I'm at plus 6. And now we just multiply them by each other and we get a nice expression. Okay? So this will give me x squared times 5x, which is how much? X squared is x times x times x. It means x to the power 3 plus 6x squared plus 2 times 5, 10, plus 2 times 6, 12. So finally, I will get 5x to the power 3. Actually, I cannot combine anything. So I will stop right there. Okay, so those are the two definitions of sum and product of two functions. So we introduced now two notation, f plus g, it means f of x plus g of x, and fg, which means f of x times g of x. Now the third idea we're going to introduce, and then we start practicing all those, is the notion of composition of two functions. So composition of two functions. Please, if I'm going fast or you cannot have enough time to write, let me know. Otherwise, I will keep going. So please help me out here, okay? Composition of two functions. What do we mean by that? So suppose we have two functions, f and g. So we have two rules. Then, the composition of f and g, that it has a really weird notation. It's denoted by f, a little circle. You guys see the circle? F composed with g. So this is a circle. That's not a multiplication. It's defined by. So we're defining a new function, because that's what the whole thing today, new function, defined by. What do we mean by f composed with g? It's defined as follows. You give it an x, and the output is going to be the following. You start with x, you evaluate g of x, and then you take f of g of x. So you start with x, you find g of x, and then g of x become an input for f, and you find f of g of x. So one way to picture the composition is like this. You start with an x, so that's really the picture if you want. Then you let the function g act on it, and you evaluate g of x. And then you take g of x becomes now your input, and you find f of g of x. So that's really how the composition works. You start with x, you find g of it, and then you find f of g of x. That's what we mean by decomposition. And let us practice this immediately. Okay, so example. So I'll start with the example, and then I will let you guys practice those definitions carefully. So example, suppose I take, I don't know, f of x to be the square root of x. That's the rule for f. It takes something, it takes the square root of it. And g is a simple function. You give it an input, takes the input, and add 2 to it. Now I'm going to look at this new function I just defined and try to understand it. So question number 1 is, I want you to evaluate, or we're going to do this together. You want to evaluate f composed, that's a circle. Be careful, that's a circle of g, f composed with g of 2, for example. What does this mean? How do we evaluate this? We follow the definition verbatim. This is equal to what? It's, you start with 2. You find g of 2, and then you find f of g of 2. That's going to be the most important step, is interpret the composition. So it's f of g of 2. You're not multiplying, you're finding f of g of 2. So let us compute that. So it's equal to what? So to find this, first I need to find g of 2. So on the side, I'm going to compute g of 2. G of 2 is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So this is going to become equal to f of g of 2 is 4. And then I find f of it. What does f of it is? It's the square root of 4, which is equal to 2. Okay, so that's how we do that. So first we find g of 2, and then f of g of 2, and then we get that. So let me give you another example. Evaluate f of 3. Again, it's f of g of 3. So I find g of 3, and then I find f of it. So g of 3 is 3 plus 2, which is 5. So this is going to become f of 5, which is the square root of 5. So that's really the definition of this new function that's called the composition of f and g. Right? Now, again, I work with the same function. I'm not going to change them. And my question is going to be, find a formula for f composed with g. It means, another way of asking that is, find f composed with g of any x. Instead of giving you 2 or 3, now I'm telling you, if I put you any x, what's going to be the formula for it? Right. The idea is the same. It's f of g of x. Means you start with x, you compute g of x of it, then f of g of x. Now, but what's g of x? So on the side, I always put my g's, because that's the g of x. So this is going to be equal to f of x plus 2. And sometimes we call this g here the inside function. So you start with x, you apply g, which is, we call it the inside, and then you apply f, that we usually call it the outside function. So, but this is equal to what? What f do? F take the square root of anything you give it. So it's going to give me the square root of x plus 2. And that's the general formula of f composed with g. Okay. I'll give you one more example myself before I move to you guys and you guys start practicing every definition I give. Let us say I ask you now to evaluate G composed with F of 2. So the first question was F composed with G of 2. I asked that question. Now I'm changing a little bit. G composed with F. How is the picture changing now? What changes now? So the order in which I put the function is different. So what do I do right now? The same idea. But first, I find F of 2 and then G of F of 2. Exactly. That's really what we do. So now it's equal to G of. Okay, what is F of 2? What's F doing? F is taking the square root. So this is the square root of 2. So this is G of the square root of 2. Now what does G do? It takes whatever you give it, and it adds 2 to it. So very different. So G composed with F versus F composed with G, absolutely two different functions. Absolutely two different functions. All right. So those are the new functions that we can create for some old one that we know. So we can add function, we can multiply them, and more importantly, we can take what we call their composition. Right. So now
sorry, that last one is the final answer, right?
That's the final answer.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, that's the final answer. Now I know you can plug in the square root of 2 into your calculator, which gives you 1.14. But for now, that's the answer I want from you. Okay. So now we're going to go back to the worksheet that I put on bright space. And we're going to do those problems together. So I hope you guys can see it, and it's there for you. So these are my problem. We're going to practice those ideas. F of x is 1 over x minus 2. G of x is 2x plus 3. The first few problems is about adding, multiplying, and then it's about composition. So f plus g of 5, I want you to evaluate it and then express the answer as one fraction. I give you a minute to do this, and you put your answer on bright space. I meant on chat. So I check what you guys are doing. So please get going, all of you. So when you get your answer, please put it. And your cameras on are very much appreciated. Okay, I'm reading chat. To see what you guys found.
Professor, do you want it? Small. Oh, never mind.
That's okay. All right, so I'm getting one answer. I want anybody else? Okay, very good. So I will pick one student and tell the student to tell me what they did. And as I told you several times, I pick in a very arbitrary way. So I don't know. Let me pick somebody. Adriana, are you with me? Adriana. Okay, I don't push the student. If you're not with me, I mark it down. Alicia, I know you're with me.
Hello.
Yeah, guide me through it.
Okay, so first thing I did was plug in 5 to f of x. So that's 1 over 5 minus 2.
Okay, you see that I am a bit slower than you because I want you to write the definition. Now I follow you. So
Okay.
f of 5 is,
So that's 5 minus 2
Mhm.
underneath the 1. Yeah. And then you get 2 times 5 plus 3.
So it's gonna give me 1 over
3
3
plus 13.
plus 13.
And then you have to make sure that the denominators are the same. So you have to multiply the 13 by 3.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, by 3.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And then make sure that
Then
by 3 over
Now-
3.
yeah, and now you can add the numerators.
Mm-hmm. So then you
How
should
much you got
get
here?
39 over 3. And then 39 plus 1 is 40. So you get 40 over 3.
Absolutely correct. All right. Now, B, again, I'm going to give you a minute or two to do it. I think this requires 2 minutes. And please put your answers on chat. That helps you to know if you're doing it right or wrong. And I'm going to pick another student. So stay with me. Okay. Anybody got anything? All right. Okay, Cindy, guide me.
So you're just gonna basically use what is already given to you and plug it in.
Okay, so
like-
what do you get? Tell me what you write here quickly.
1 over x take away 2 plus 2x plus 3.
Okay, and then, so that's the setup. The setup is very good. Now it's just adding f to g. Now the algebra. At this stage is the algebra. Okay, algebra, what did you do?
I found a common denominator. X take away 2, just multiply with 2x
So-
plus 3.
So she took the expression 2x plus 3, the whole expression, multiplied it by x minus 2, divided by x minus 2. So we're basically finding a common denominator, but it's a little bit harder because we're dealing with an x. Okay, this is equal to what?
2
Okay, I'm
take
listening.
away x, take away 6.
Okay, so equal to. This is the common denominator x minus 2. Now I can basically add the numerators. So it's equal to. Now 1 plus. I have to multiply those by each other. 2x times that give me 2x squared minus 4x. I'm distributing. Plus 3x minus 6. And plus bracket this expression. Now this is equal to, since I have a plus here, I'm just going to add minus 4x plus 3x is going to give me the minus x minus 6 over the x minus 2. And finally, I will get 2x squared minus x, 1 minus 6 minus 5. Oops, you have a small mistake, Cindy, over x minus 2. So it's a little bit lower algebra. The setup is easy. The algebra is a little bit more involved. The main idea is to find the common denominator and then combine like terms.
So that's the answer right there?
That's the answer. There is nothing I can do anymore. Yes. Okay, because I wanted you to do it as one fraction. So that's how you're going to do it. All right. Okay. So that's for the sum. Now FG of 5. Again, this is easy. So I want a minute. I give you 1 minute to do it because I would like to finish this worksheet and see what you guys get. This is F times G. So that's multiplication. There is no circle between. So we're not really composing them. And put your answers once you get it. Okay. How much you guys are getting? So remember the definition, FG of 5. The definition was f of 5 times g of 5. So, right. So this is the definition. This means f of 5 times g of 5. There is no circle in between. So this is, we are just multiplying them. So we have to be very careful to the notation. Now, what is f of 5? I go back. F of x is 1 over x minus 2. So f of 5 is 1 over 5 minus 2 multiplied by g of 5. But g of 5, it's 2 times 5 plus 3, 13. So I get 1 over 3 times 13. Now how we multiply this? It means 13 over 3. Okay, so that's really the notation FG. Now D, FG of x. And please, I want more than 2 or 3 students to write on chat. I want all of you to try to do it. Okay, Brandon O, are you with me? Brandon?
Yeah, I'm with you, sorry.
Okay, tell me, what should I write?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of lost in the whole log situation.
Okay. This notation FG of x means f of x times g of x. That's what it's notation. So this is times. I'm writing it this way for you to understand. It's a multiplication. What is f of x?
X would be, one sec, I'm trying to find my pencil. My stuff's falling everywhere.
Be careful. You don't have time for that now. What's g of x?
G of x would be, what's G right now?
It's 2x plus 3. So
Okay.
it's just going to give me what? Now, if you want to write it in a nice way, it's 2x plus 3 over x minus 2. Okay, so you just multiply f of x by g of x. Okay. Now I'm going to move to the composition. So whenever you have a circle here, It means we're composing them. And let us see what's the definition of that. First, I remind you the definition, so all of you will be with me. The definition is f of g of 2. So you start with 2, you ask yourself what g of 2 is, and then you take f of g of 2. Okay. So you should be able to give me the answer for this one. Brandon, do you think you're capable?
Yeah.
And you think you are? You think you're ready, or should I move on?
Can I ask?
Okay, I'll let you for another problem. Brianna, are you with me?
Yes.
Brianna, okay, go for it.
Okay. So what you do first is you do the g of x, which would be the g of 2. And
Yeah,
then
which is how much?
it would be the 2x, or 2 times 2, which is 4. And then plus this 3 is 7. And then you plug in the 7 for the f function,
Okay,
which would be the, where'd it go?
it's f.
The 1 over 7 minus 2.
It's f of 7, that's the g of 2. So it's going to give me 1 over f. It takes the input, take away 2 from it. That's going to give me 1 over 5. Okay, all right, now f. Please, all of you get going with f. Okay, I'm having one answer. I would like more. Everybody's getting 11 over 3. Okay. Connor, would you like to lead?
No, because I had to look up the problem online to look up the steps.
Oh boy. Don't use online. Are you with me?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
with you. It's just I'm trying to break it down in like layman's.
Okay, so how shall we break it down?
So you're going to first, you're going to multiply, you're going to find the g, correct? So you're going to plug in the 5, so that's going to be 5 times 2, or no, 2 times 2 plus.
No. First is what? G composed with f. First, it's f of 5, then g of f of 5. This is g of f of 5. That should be your first step.
Okay, so you rewrite it first. And
You
then,
rewrite it, otherwise you won't understand it.
so then you said for this one that this is where g is going to be on the outside for this.
Exactly. That's called the outside function, and that's the inside.
Okay, so
G is the outside. So what do you have to do first?
You have to plug in the, it's going to be f of 5, or no,
Yes, f of 5, which is equal to how much?
over 5 minus 2.
1 over 5 minus 2, it means 1 over 3.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And then what do we do?
Then you have to solve for the g now, correct?
Yes, but what should you put inside the g?
F of 5.
No.
Or one, is it 1/3?
Right. That goes here.
Okay.
Are you with me now?
I'm getting there. I'm still learning.
Sure.
So
now this is going to be equal to what?
That's going to be, I don't know. I'm lost.
What is g? What does g do?
G is 2 times, or is it going to be 2 times 2 plus 5? Correct?
No. Stay with me. G is 2x plus 3. That's the rule. So g of 1/3 is going to be 2 times 1 over 3. That's the input. Plus 3. There is no 5. You're not multiplying by 5 at all. So you start with 5, you find f of 5, which is 1/3, then you find g at f of 5, at the inside function. And this would give you 2/3 plus 3. It means common denominator, 9/3, which is 11/3. And the answer on bright space was correct. So you don't multiply by 5. You evaluate f at 5, the inside, and then after you do that, you find g of what you got, which is 1/3. All right. F composed with g of x. Now I need a formula for it. And please do it by hand. Please follow the definition, do it by hand. First the definition, and then we start plugging things in. And put your answers on chat for me. Okay, anybody else? I have one answer. All right, we have 2 answers. I want at least 2 more. Okay, 3 more. I want 1 more. I don't know if it's right anyway, because I don't do those problems. I just write them down. Okay, I think there is a consensus. So if for first definition, f of g. If you don't write the definition, you are not really gonna get anywhere with me. Okay, so it means f of g. So I start with x, I find g of x. And then g of x becomes the input for f. But what does f do? 1 over whatever you input, which is 2x plus 3, and then takes 2 away from it. So this will give me 1 over 2x plus 1. Those who got it absolutely correct. Now h is a little bit harder, I think. I don't remember. H is g composed with f. So I want h where I flip the function. So in h, g is the outside, the last thing I apply to the function, and then composed with f. Again, I want answers from you. Okay. Okay, I'm starting to get answers. I got 1, I want more. Because she's maybe right, maybe not. I really have no idea. I hope yes. First you do the setup and then you start plugging in. I have another student who seem to be getting the same answer. Okay. All right, so I have 3 answers which are the same. Now I'm going to pick one of you and you have to guide me. Okay, I will pick one student. The student have to guide me. What are we going to do? So Elizabeth T. Troyer, are you with me? Elizabeth?
Yeah, I am, but honestly, I have no clue what I'm doing.
Okay, let's get started. What's the definition?
Would it be G and then f of x inside?
G of f of x. That's the definition. So you start
here.
What?
I don't know where to go from here.
Okay, let's go together. That's why I'm asking you guys. What is f of x? What's the rule for f?
1 over x minus 2.
1 over x minus 2. That means you start with x, you find f of x, which is 1 over x minus 2. Then you use 1 over x minus 2 as your input for g. What does g will give you for that? Elizabeth, do you think you can tell me? Let us analyze what does g do. You give g something, g take 2 times whatever you give it and add 3 to it. Whatever you give g, it's going to take 2 times what you give it and add 3 to it. That's what g does. So if you give g 1 over x minus 2, what g should give you? 2 times. Whatever you enter, plus 3. That's the setup. Now, we're going to do the algebra. What is the algebra here? The algebra is like this. This is 2 over x minus 2 plus 3. So the reason is the section is a little bit abstract, but those are basic notation that you have to know. There is nothing I can do about that. These are notations that you have to really absolutely to know. So now we have to find a common denominator. That should be my common denominator. So 3 times x minus 2 over x minus 2. So if I have a common denominator, I'm going to join the numerator, x minus 2. And now I combine. I have 2 plus 3 times x minus 6. And this would give me 3x minus 4 over x minus 2. So the answer was correct. Okay. Now, of course, you guys, you have to do a lot of practice, and we will in your practice problem, and you have to practice them next time I work with you more. But now I'm going to do number 3 because I have a few minutes. We have like 10 minutes left. So I want to look at number 3. Just, it's the same idea, but instead of giving you a formula, I'm giving you the graph of f and the graph of g, and I'm asking you the same type of problems. I will do part A to get you going, and then I will see if you guys can do B, C, and D. So this is the graph of f. So instead of giving you a formula for f, I gave you a graph. This is the graph of g. Instead of giving you a formula, I gave you the graph. And then I want you to compute g composed with f of 1. Nothing changed. The definition is the same. It's just the math. What's g composed with f? I'm going to write it. It's g of f of 1. It means you start with 1, you evaluate f of 1. F of 1 become now the input for g, and then you see what's g of f of 1. All right, so it's going to be equal to what? What is f of 1 in my graph? What is f of 1? F is the line. This is 1. What's f of 1? F is the line. F of 1 is -4, right? Then you need g of -4 because f of 1 is -4. And then you have to find what does g do to -4. G is the squiggly one. -4 is here. What g does to it, it takes it to 0. Okay, so it's the same definition, but it's a different representation of the function. Now that I did A, I want you to do B for me. Write it correctly and then proceed. And this is decomposed with f of 2. That's a 2 in here for those who cannot see it. And I want you to tell me what the answer is. Okay, I want more answers. If you write it the way I wrote it, it will become much easier for you. Okay, I'm getting 2 correct answers. Okay. All right. Zach Wilson, can you guide me through it? How are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm kind of confused.
Okay, let's do it again. And you guys have a lot of work to do for next Tuesday. All right, well, how do we start? What does this notation mean? How does it do to X? Let us remember the definition. What does it do?
You mean like to set it up?
Yeah, set it up.
Okay, so it'd be f of x equals f parentheses g times x?
No, it's f, not g times, g of x.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, okay. All right. So this will become what? F composed with g of 2. It's f of what?
Would it be -4?
Now let's not guess. Just to set up. Then we guess. It's f of g of 2.
Okay.
That's what I mean by setup. Is that clear?
Yeah.
You have to start here, or you're guessing. Now, what is g of 2 in the graph? Because you first have to find g of 2, and then you say, okay, what does f do to this? What's a g of 2? I want you to go g. G is the squiggly.
Oh, okay. So would it just be 0 then?
Right, don't be afraid.
Okay.
Don't be afraid, it's 0. That's g of 2. So I need f of 0. Now back to your graph. What is f of 0?
-2.
-2. Now you got it.
Okay, that makes more sense.
All right. C, I'm gonna pick another student for it. And I want this student to guide me, to work with me the same way Zach worked with me. Tristan, are you ready?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, help me out with C. And verbatim, I want it to be done exactly the way we're doing it so you guys don't do a mistake. First, what is the setup?
Sorry, it's kind of blurry.
You have it on bright space, so let me write it in big letters.
Is it F?
I will write it in big letters.
Oh,
I will
okay.
write in big letters.
Sorry.
No, you're right.
Oh, it's F. Oh, wow.
So it's going to be
So it'd be f of f, and then f of 0, and then that would f of 0 is
What's f of 0?
0, right?
No. F is the line. If this is 0, what is f of 0?
Oh, -2.
Right. So now you need f of -2.
Okay.
What's f of -2? So I'm still working with the same function. What is f of -2?
Where is
At
it?
your graph. What is -2? What is f?
Would it be 2?
Yeah, why are you so afraid?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was trying to look at the graph and I was trying to.
This is -2. What's f of -2? F is the
It'd be-
line. I go
yeah, it
all
would be
the way
2.
till I hit the line. I'm hitting the line right here. So this is going to be exactly 2.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. I mean, I'm out of time, so I will do the last one quickly. And I think f composed with f of 2. Okay, I will pick one arbitrary. Grace, do you think you can do it?
Yeah, I can.
Yes, go for it.
So
First the setup. First the setup. I don't want answers.
so it would be f of 2
Right.
equals, sorry, give me 1 second. I just need to see the graph.
Yeah, this is the graph.
So it would be -6.
F of 2. Okay, let me see. Is she right? It's -6. That's my 2. Yeah. So it's f of -6. So she's absolutely correct. Okay. What's f of -6?
Is it undefined or no?
It's undefined, 100% correct. Because we don't have, if it's -6, I'm totally out of my graph. It's undefined for us. Okay, so that's how we're gonna do the composition of 2 functions. All right, so please practice them, and next time I'll answer all your questions. Remember, your online homework is due tonight. I've checked it, and a lot of you hadn't started yet, so be careful. I have office hours from 2:30 to 3:30. Feel comfortable. And Nelson, what do you want to tell them?
That we'll have our SI session today. I'm going to change the time, so just pay attention to your emails. So
speak up. I don't think they hear you because I can't hear you.
Let's see. How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see if I could just adjust the volume real quick. Let's see. What about now? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to change the time for the SI session for today. So I'll just send an announcement through your email. So just pay attention to your emails.
Okay.
Yep. And that's all. Thanks.
All right. So pay attention to your email. All right. So if anybody has any question, please, you guys stay. Otherwise, the class is